Okay, so Jenny was born in Mount Isa and grew up in a little town called Collinsville. And she got heavily involved in basketball through her family, eventually moving down to Brisbane to play with the Lady Bullets and winning a AIS scholarship, which is where we met. And we've been together since 1986. And obviously she has followed me with my basketball career, but also making her own career path along the way and being very successful in that. And right up to the point of us having a number of children who have all become basketballers. Keely and Alicia, both born in 96. Alicia was born first, Keely followed 7 minutes later. Alicia believes she's always done the hard work, and Keely's had it easy. Keely is a very bubbly, happy person, strong-minded, very loving, cares. Both girls care about people a lot, and makes great friends and enjoys life. Alicia's a lot more like me. She's very determined, intense, aggressive, and plays that way. A little bit better shooter than I was, but both girls have great compassion for people. They love the game of basketball, and that's what our whole family does. The whole family loves basketball, and both of them have made their own successes along the way. Keely obviously winning WNBL championships, and Alicia probably the most decorated player in the history of their game, and both of them earning good degrees. Jenny, Keely and Alicia probably inspire me through their empathy and their integrity. As I said earlier, Jenny balances me greatly. I'm a very intense person. The three of them just have so much empathy, and you see it in the way they grow up. They really care about people. Their integrity, they're very honest people. It's really something for me growing up I've not had a lot of, and they inspire me to be a lot more like them. And as I get older, I find they often rub off on me a little bit. Oh, look, with Keely and Alicia, there are so many moments they've made me so proud. But there are a few that stand out. And I think a bit of it relates back to the empathy and non-discriminate that I've spoken to about the both of them. And we went to their primary school one day, and their teacher pulled us aside, and they had a young girl who had a disability, and a number of the class kids were picking on her. And Alicia and Keely went to the teacher and said, make sure you put her in our group. She's going to be with us every time. And as a parent, to hear that at such a young age, that's ingrained in them at that age. You go, you know what? These kids are genuine. They're going to be successful, and they're fantastic. So that was a really proud moment. Probably the other moment of pride that I had for the girls was the Under-18 Australian Women's Championships. North Queensland is traditionally not strong. It had never won an Australian championship. Both girls were in the team. And I remember, I wasn't at the championship, but I remember them telling me at the opening ceremony, the coach at the AIS, Phil Brown, had asked them, how do you think you're going to go, girls? And they both, at exactly the same time as twins do, we're going to win it. And Phil sort of looked a bit sideways, like, you think you're good enough to win it? And they're like, yeah, we're going to win it. So every game, they would go to Phil, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And they did it, and they kept knocking teams off. And then they won the grand final. And they ran into the grandstand and said to Phil, see, we told you we were going to win. And that confidence, the air of belief, and the fact they did it with their team was sensational. So that's another thing of pride that I hold. Wow, you're asking me a big one here. I could talk for a year on it. Jenny's success was grown over time. She was always a very good player, recognised as a junior, taken into the AIS. When she got to the AIS, she actually worked at the AIS in the sports medicine department, as well as playing. She tells stories about how when she played at the Lady Bullets, they would have to take sandwiches for the aftergame for the men. And the men got paid and the women didn't. And yet they were expected to perform at the same levels. So she grew up getting very little back from basketball. I think the most Jenny ever got paid was $500 to play basketball. Very, very humble. Would never, anytime I mention, you've won 4 championships, you've worked at this level, that level, this level, so many different levels in the WNBL. Oh, don't make a fuss over, it's nothing big, it's nothing. But her achievements over time grew and grew and grew. And she might not have been the greatest player, but I challenge you to find another person that's done all of that in the WNBL. And I was actually talking about it with Tracy Browning out of Melbourne. And Tracy said, we're going to nominate her for WNBL Life membership, which she got last year. And as humble as she was, when she got that award, she's been such a happy person from the basketball side of things to finally be recognised and how much of achievement that has been. And going down to Melbourne for that award with Lauren Jackson and the WNBL and being given a life membership to the WNBL is one of the happiest basketball moments of her life. And for me to see that for her and go, you know what, that's an amazing, amazing achievement that's finally been acknowledged is a brilliant thing. And without the support she gives me, I wouldn't have been half the person, player or coach that I am. So this one's massive. The role of females in the development of the basketball community, it is one of the biggest things in North Queensland. We have limited opportunities, so the women involved in basketball encouraging young females to play the sport, not only to become the best they can in sport, but the best they can become in women. And I'll probably start with the likes of Norma Connolly. Norma Connolly has trophies named after her. She's been synonymous with the game in North Queensland. She's coached my wife as a young girl, my daughters as a young girl, Sandy Brondello, Jenny Evans, Nadine Payne, the list just goes on. So watching her do what she did and has done for the North is outstanding. Then you watch the follow-on people. I mean, you've got my wife, Jenny, and I've watched her coach a number of kids to high level. And not only high level, you're talking about changing kids' life. We had a young girl who had some issues at home and was probably on a bit of a troubled path. And I see the young lady every week in the bank now. She's got a great job and she's, she knows how to work in a team, and you watch that young lady blossom. So it's about changing people's lives, and the women we have up here doing that, as I said, Norma, Jenny, Claudia Brassard, Jenny Evans, Sandy Brondello is from North Queensland, and she's coaching people all around the world. That there's such a powerhouse of women that have changed this game or forged this game up here, and it's vital. We need those women who know the game to give back, so the next batch of girls, like I would expect no different from my daughters, and Alicia already does it, to start coaching the younger kids for the next batch of Jennies, Sandys, or Nadines, all those people that are coming through to the following game. I would choose the challenge women's basketball not being recognised enough. All right, so choose the challenge not being recognised as an individual, as a group. I mean, women's basketball has been a powerhouse in the world for 30 years. It's not a flash in the pan. It's like 80s, you're watching the Michelle Timms and Robin Mars dominate, right through to the Lauren Jacksons to today's crop, and you've got the Shyla Heels and that coming through now, the Jade Melbournes. They've been in the top 3 for 30 years. You know, we're hearing all about the NBL guys now having great success, and that's fantastic. But women have been doing it for 30 years. Let's sell ourselves. You know, I go back to the changing of the strategy with the fire. Put out what you're bloody good at. You know, as an individual, tell everyone how great you are. Sell yourself the world. Now, it's not netball where 5 or 6 countries play. It's not women's AFL where it's only played in Australia. You played in over 249 countries in the world. There's 249 countries in the world, and every one of them plays women's basketball. And you're in the top 3 in the world. It's a special thing. Let the world know. Go to the sponsors, tell them how good you are. You know, over the years, Jenny was a support player and did a lot of little things, but at the end of it, she's become a superstar of the NBL by doing so much, and she's recognised. And you should be telling people that. She didn't want to. Tell people how good you are. When you do well as a young woman playing a game, an individual game, you have to tell people how good you are. We don't tell the world how good we are. Anywhere near enough. Promote your excellence and sell yourself.